Hi, I'm Monk and this is the Monk Way. I just got a credit card 12 months ago, and now my credit score is over 700. After a lot of research, I figured out the perfect system for gaining credit score. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this too. And if you have a low score or even no score, just following a few simple steps will get you to 800. Make sure to watch the whole video, because every step is important but very easy to do. Subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like for more investing videos. I make them every day. And check out my investing group in the description below, where I show you every single buy or sell I make in the market. And if you're new to investing, check out the 2 investing apps below. Webull is perfect for swing traders, and you get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,000 for signing up. M1 Finance is great for passive investors. Both are totally free to use. There are affiliate links in the description below. Okay, so why do you need a credit score or even a credit card? It's crazy to think that I haven't had one for so long. I was taught as a kid that borrowing money means you'll be poor. This was a huge mistake because the credit score is very necessary. This is because we could use that score for huge loans. We need loans for new businesses, a car, and most importantly, a mortgage. Even renting apartments will require a credit score check. You don't want to be the last on the list when you need a place to stay. Yes, having debts is usually not a great thing. This is why you don't ever want to skip paying off your card. But if you're borrowing $500,000 on a 4% interest rate, you're actually making money overall. A simple example is this. If you invest in the stock markets, you'll know that if you get 10% a year on average, pretty safely. This means if you borrow money at 4% interest rates, you're actually profiting by 6% a year for free. This is a simple way to think about a mortgage. You can basically make a profit on it if you invest correctly. I felt pretty stupid when the mortgage advisor said I had no credit, and getting a mortgage would be very difficult. So don't make my mistake. Get a credit card and build your credit today. You can get a respectable score by your second month. In this video, I'll show you exactly how you can raise your score without any real work. You can spend 5 minutes a month managing your card and get a score over 800. I'm not even kidding. This is exactly how I raised my score in 12 months. A credit score ranges from 300 to 850. 300 means you have terrible credit and probably won't get a loan. Over 650 is good enough for a loan, but below this score is not good. And over 740 is a sweet spot, giving you the best interest rates. And if you get your score over 800, banks will love you. Want a new car? Want a new house? It's no problem at all. And 800 is not hard to get. It just takes time. The higher the number, the lower the rates. So what factors goes into your credit score? There's actually only 5 simple factors that change your score. Let's look at them individually. There's 5, but you only have to do one thing a month. The first factor is payment history, accounting for 35% of your score. This just means the amount of on-time payments you made. The longer you pay on time, the higher this goes. They want to see that you're a consistent person who pays on time. The simplest way to raise this part is to pay off your card every single month at the end of the month. After just a few months, they should keep raising your score every single month. Don't worry too much about missing a payment. Just keep paying on time after. And over time, your old late payments will disappear on your record. The later you pay your bill, the lower this part of your score. So if you miss a payment by 30 days, it's not too bad, but over 90 days will damage your score. The second factor is credit utilization, accounting for 30% of your score. Credit card companies actually want you to use less of your card. The less of your maximum credit you use, the better. The people with the best scores tend to use less than 6% of their credits. This means if you have $10,000 limits, it's a good idea to only use $600 a month for 6% used. The less of this credit you use every month, the more your score increases. The maximum way to increase this score is to use your card one time a month. For example, you can just buy a pack of gum with it every month, or use that card for your Netflix account. This way you might have a 1% utilization rate, giving you the max score. You can actually get a 0% rate by paying off your card before your bill comes. Buy a burger today for $5 and pay it off the same day online. When a company reports your credit card, it'll show 0% used. You do actually have to use your card once a month. Not using it at all does not count as 0%. This part of the score changes from month to month, so don't worry too much if you use 100% of your credits for 1 month. This score will go back up if you decrease usage in the months after, and your credit is cumulative, so all the cards you have are combined. If you have 3 cards letting you borrow $10,000 each, you have a maximum of $30,000 you can borrow. So maxing out one card is only using 33% of your usage rates that month. If you must use your card for the perks you want, try using less than 30% for a pretty good score. The third factor is length of credit history, 15% of your score. A very basic factor that just requires you to have a credit card. The longer you've had your first card, the better the score. This factor also means that you can't have a perfect score as soon as you get a card. A very passive score that just depends on not closing your account. This is why you should never close your first card, or any cards in general. Closing your first card means this number decreases. For example, if you had a card for 10 years and you closed it, the score would depend on the next card you started. Maybe that card was only 2 years old, decreasing the score. More credit cards also decrease your average age. If you have one card that's 10 years old and another card that's 1 year old, your average age is 5.5 years. So it's best to get new cards when you can and keep them forever. The fourth factor is your mix of different credits, 10% of your score. I'd like to see you having a few different kinds of credits. This could be multiple credit cards, a mortgage, and a car loan. You don't want to go overboard and get loans you don't need. Usually the natural progression of loans and credit cards is enough. This means if you have 3 credit cards and a mortgage after a few years, this should be enough to raise this part of the score. There's nothing wrong with getting a few loans if you pay them off. A car loan, a mortgage, and a credit card should be a good mix over the years. The final factor is new credits, 10% of your score. This score just decreases the more you have hard inquiries on your credits. This means if you open too many cards at once, this will decrease your score. There are soft checks and hard checks. A hard check will decrease this part of your score, but it's only temporary. This is required for some loans and opening some new credit cards. This only decreases for the past year, so don't worry about opening a few new cards. They don't want you to open too many accounts at once, but a new card every year or two should be fine, along with 1 or 2 big loans. That was a lot of factors to consider, but let me summarize it all in one simple action you have to take. First, you open a credit card, activate it, and use it once a month. Let's say you charge $10 a month on it for Netflix. Once you get your bill, you have 30 days to pay it off. Pay it off once a month, and you have the perfect credit score strategy. It sounds very simple because it is simple. Let's look at all 5 factors. First is on-time payments. You will be paying off that $10 every month on time. No problems here. Second is utilization. If you start with a $3,000 credit limit, you're using less than 1% of your limits, giving you the minimum usage rates. Third is length of credit history. Just having a card increases this one. Fourth is credit mix. This will be increased after you raise your credit a bit. After a year, you can try getting a better rewards card, and maybe signing up for a mortgage too. Fifth is new credits. Not applying for a new card until later will make sure this stays high. It's that simple to raise your credit score. If you want to use it for more than $10 a month, you can just pay it off as soon as you use it. For example, if you have a 2% cashback card and you want to buy a new TV for $1,000, just pay it off the exact same day. Now your usage is 0% and you got $20 for free. Now you know the most optimum and basic strategy. Let's look at a few myths and questions you might have about credit scores. These questions really confused me when I first did research on this. Does not using my card at all hurt my score? If your bank doesn't close your account for non-usage, this is not much of a problem. Your utilization, being none at all, will decrease the score, but using it once after you need it will increase this part again. Not paying for your card every month will not move the on-time payment factor, so not using it at all means your score stays the same. The best way is to use it once a month. Do I have to pay interest on a credit card to raise the score? Definitely not. People might think that paying interest is a good thing, because it shows the bank that you can pay money back, but actually it's a lot better to pay off your card and not have to pay interest. In fact, you should never pay interest if you can afford it. 15 to 20% interest a year is crazy, and will not increase your credit score. Should I cancel one of my old cards because of bad rewards? No, you shouldn't, because your oldest card matters a lot for your credit history. This part of the score takes the average of all your cards. This means that one card you started with is the most important. Keep it and don't cancel it if you want a higher score. Does checking my credits hurt my score? It doesn't if it's a soft check. If you're checking your score online, it's usually soft and doesn't affect your score. Only hard checks from new credit cards can decrease your score for the year. Using a free service does not decrease your score either. I use a free one that updates me every month on my score, and so far there's no problems. When is the latest I can pay off my monthly bill? You have a nice grace period to pay off your bill. If you're using your credit card this month, you get your bill at the end of the month. You have an additional 21 days minimum, the average being about 25 days, to pay your bill. So if you just got your bill, you can pay it off in the next 3 weeks without any interest. Starting from the first day of the month, that's about 51 days total. The best way to do this is to pay it off when you get the bill, or right after a purchase. Should I accept credit limit increases? Yes, you should. Unless you think you can't handle the responsibility of a high limit. Having a higher limit means your usage goes down. For example, if your limit increased from $10,000 to $100,000, spending $1,000 a month just became 1% instead of 10%. A lower usage rate is best, so if you can handle it, ask your bank for the maximum increase. I went from $5,000 a month to $20,000 after a few months, and I never borrow more than I need, so there's no problems. And that's everything you need to know about your credit score. Don't make my mistake. Get a credit card today. If you have no credits, you won't be able to get a mortgage, meaning you can't buy a home. You won't be able to rent an apartment. The landlord will have other tenants with credits. You won't be able to buy a new car, and you can't open a new business that requires some money. A credit card is not the enemy. As long as you pay off every month and use very little of your limits, this card will actually make you hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. If you can't handle borrowing responsibly, there are prepaid credit cards. These let you only spend money you have. Great for beginners without credits, because most people get accepted. A card like the Discover It secured card is perfect, letting you deposit $200 a month and spend that money like a credit card. Once you have enough credits, you can apply for a non-secured version. Good for reducing temptation, or for people with bad credits. Let's take a look at my credit score progression. Here's Borrowwell, a free credit checker for Canadians. This month, my score is 724, up 1 point from last month. My on-time payments should increase it slowly. As you can see, for the first month, I got a score of 660, which is enough for most loans. All I did was use this card once a month and pay off on time. It went from 664 to 686, then 711 to 715, 721, and now 724. I'm actually using my card more, so my utilization rate is higher. If I wanted to increase this part of the score, I would go back to using it once a month, and possibly applying for another credit card. This will decrease my score temporarily, but raise it after. I started earning credit for a mortgage, and this score is good enough for a pretty good loan already. Subscribe, hit that bell, and leave a like for more finance videos. I make these every day. And check out the 2 best investing apps below, Webull and M1 Finance, both free to use. These are the best brokerages for beginner investors. Keep watching to increase your credit score the Monk way.